Go ahead.
This is R.E. Van Gundy, who is a veteran of the armed forces. What war were you in?
World War II,
How long did the war last?
5 years,
How long were you in the service?
a total of 37 years, 6 months, and 3 days, active duty and reserve time.
What was your first assignment?
Submarine patrol from Grand Isle, Louisiana.
What type of plane did you fly?
Then the Goose and Norwegian.
What was the main plane that you flew, and what was its main function?
The main plane that I flew was after I went to the 8th Air Force was the B-24. Its main function was bombing. I have a picture of it here if you'd like to take a picture of it. That is not my aircraft, it is just a picture of an airplane, of a B-24.
Okay.
Where were you stationed?
Worldwide.
Did you stay in one place?
No, I was on TDY most of the time.
What does that stand for?
Means temporary duty.
And where all did you travel?
Oh, Europe, North Africa, and South Pacific.
What was your specific job in the war?
I was first pilot and check pilot.
What were some of your experiences that sticks out in your mind?
Oh, I landed on an airplane with the wing on fire, and I landed on an airplane with flat tires. About as bad as I guess it can come. And I put an airplane up on the snows when the landing gear wouldn't come down.
How did the war change your life?
It made me appreciate the United States of America and the way of our living.
Thank you very much.
Sure. That was it, you know, my time is my time. You know that? No use sitting around worried. But I tell you, that submarine patrol was about the roughest that you ever had. I flew 16 hours every day for 12 days in a row. I was in the air.
It's a lot of time.
And I got 12 days, got 3 days ground duty then, and 12 days again. That gets to be boring. Sit up there, we have two pilots on board, see, take turns. I go on for 3 hours and off, 3 hours and on, 3 hours and off again. For 16 hours. It's people, you know, your age and the people that are Jerry's age. Now Jerry can remember the war, but it's only vaguely. Grandma came to Western Kansas, not Liberal, yeah, Liberal, no, Garden City, Kansas. We lost an airplane in the crew there every day. She got in there that night, late at night, and I'd written her letters and telling her what was happening, see. She got in there and there was 4 coffins. On the wagons, at that time they had little wagons, or not trucks, that they hauled things to the depot on, you know, to slide down the caskets there, and the names were on the outside. So she goes up and sees whose name is on it. She's scared, see? But that's the way of life, you know. I was just lucky it wasn't me. Because otherwise she would have had a fit, you know, if something like that had happened. And of course she was en route, and there'd be no way to contact her.
Right.
Contact her mother and father, who I gave for contact. Because I didn't know where your mother was going to be, or your grandmother was going to be, because she went to Illinois for, once is all. And then she lived with Grandma and Grandpa all the rest of the time, except when she would follow me around. I had a little convertible. I lived at the end of the runway. Your mother and I had sleeping quarters at that house with Jerry, and kitchen privileges. Our sleeping quarters wasn't any bigger than my office. It was just
Teeny.
terrible, really. And little Denny, I'll never forget him, the little boy, their little boy. See, he followed me around like I shouldn't stop real quick, cause he knows to get in the wrong place, he did, see. But anyway, your grandmother would take me over to fly, cause she knew the number of my airplane.
Mhm.
And she knew that when I took off, I'd be gone so many hours,
Mhm.
or I should be gone that many hours. So then she'd know when to kind of expect me back and come and pick me up, because she and Jerry would have the car. Well, this particular day, she was sitting at the end of the runway, and Jerry was sitting up on the back, watching me leave, because it was a big deal with Jerry.
Mhm.
And the wing was on fire, see. And I wheeled that baby around and told him to get everybody out of the way, because I was gonna land downwind, see. And all I wanted was out.
Mhm.
And they didn't have enough altitude to do anything about it. It was going right downtown Denver, because that's the way you took off, right down over town, see. I wheeled that baby around and I hit the emergency bell in the airplane, which meant ban the aircraft.
Mhm.
And I said, now just a minute, they slow down enough, I'm gonna set the air. The minute, it'll mean the tires are gonna slide and they're gonna grind them off, see, because we go about 150 miles an hour, 135. So I said, when this bell starts ringing, I said, you know there's nobody up here, because I'll be the last one to leave, and I will be gone when the bell quits. So we all jumped out. And I rolled down the runway, it went over off on the grass after a second, because we had no control then, see.
Mhm.
And I set the brakes, and it's like an emergency brake, except it just locks everything, see. Well, and I jumped out. It was about 12 foot down to the ground, you know. I hit the ground, and we'd learn to roll. They'd take us up on it was a great big post that had a chain on it, that wire down there, and they'd ride down, and we never knew when it was gonna hit the switch, hit the button, which would release us and let us fall. See, and it was supposed to land and roll so we didn't get hurt, so this is what we were taught. But I had burns on my shoulders, see, and my hip, from sliding,
Right.
because,
Going that
you're
fast.
gonna slide in the grass, I don't care what they tell you,
Right.
and the grass burns you, right through your clothes.
Hmm.
So the ambulance came out. She goes around to the base, see, well, they closed the base. The airplane's down to the end, I never forget it. They just went every direction. Cause they were waiting to take off from behind me, see, probably 20 airplanes down there waiting for me to get airborne so they could leave. Like at the airport, you know, you take your turn.
Mhm.
Well, they went everywhere, get away from me. Well, the plane went probably from here to, maybe to the end of the street and exploded, burned. 'Cause, you know, it's only gonna last so long, and the fire coming through the wings, and that's where your fuel is.
Right.
Well, she goes around the base, they wouldn't let her in. Said, no, the base is closed. Said she didn't know what had happened to me until, about 2 hours later. They came out after us in the meat wagon, the ambulances, and I wouldn't get into the ambulance. I said, hell no, I'm gonna walk to them. But I couldn't stand up. I get up, my knees were too weak, I just couldn't do it. So then I got in the ambulance, rode up in the front seat, got out and walked in the administration building, and they took me over to have have a physical, treat my burns,
Mhm.
sent me home. And your mother knew. Your grandmother knew. But this one time when I cracked the aircraft up, I cracked two of them up. The one that sticks in my mind most is the B-25. The nose gear wouldn't come down. When the nose gear would come down, the main gear would go up. When the main gear would come down, the nose gear would go up. One of the check valves in the thing was malfunctioning, see? And it let it bleed back through. Well, you could get into the nose of that airplane from underneath the pilot seat. That's where the navigator sat, see?
Mhm.
So I crawled up under there and I thought, well, you know, I'll put the axe. We had an axe in there, a great big long axe. We're supposed to hack our way out. If we needed to get out of the airplane and the doors were closed or couldn't get out any other, we were supposed to cut holes in it, see?
Mhm.
Aluminum, it was aluminum. I got that damn wheel down and I put that axe handle in there, you know, I think, well, now that'll hold
Hold
it.
up.
It didn't. It shone right up through the dash. The
Oh,
whole
my
works.
goodness.
Well, then I had no choice. They said, you have your choice. You can either land it, or you can trim it up, let it go, and jump out. So I jumped the entire crew except my engineer. And I said, you're next. We were around the hole, see, to jump. That was big, about that big square, 3-foot square. I said, you're next. He said, I'm not gonna jump and you're not big enough to sink me out here. But he said, I know what you're gonna do. He said, you're gonna take this airplane back, aren't you? And I said, that's my intention, yes. He said, I'm gonna be co-pilot. So he worked the
Neat.
by the co-pilot. We took it back. They had dismissed everybody in school watching us land, see. And I came in really hot because I'm gonna drag the tail, see, because I didn't want to come up on the nose gear until just at the very last. And I said, now, when I yell, you hit the emergency switch. That cut off all electricity in the thing, see, because I figured, you know, it would explode. I figured it'd burn eventually, but I didn't want electricity in there. Because the main gear would go down and the sparks would really fly, see. But the main gear stood out. We went on down the runway and just, he said, you're gonna run out of the airport. And I said, I know it. I said, left full rudder. And boy, we jumped on that thing at full brake and we whirled that thing around like that and then it come up on its nose. We had some really experiences, Kenzie.
Sounds
It wasn't all easy, but it paid off.
in the
I
end.
draw a nice pension now from Armed Forces. Your Grandpa Hartman used to tell me, he said, I don't know what in the world you stand there for. I said, Dad, I couldn't get out any other way. Because the B-29 pilots, they weren't letting you out, period. See, they didn't give a damn how much time you had in. But we had trouble with Russia, see. I signed an indefinite reserve for my lifetime, really is what it meant to. I have a honorable discharge from the first enlistment, but the second one I don't have. I just got a certificate of service. I haven't been discharged.